The words of St. Paul in today's first reading. How rich are the depths of God! How deep is wisdom and knowledge! Who could ever know the mind of the Lord? If you remember the readings last Friday we had about Paul's continuation from last Friday, Paul's anguish and sadness about his fellow Jewish brothers and sisters who failed to accept Jesus as the Messiah. From that anguish, he's coming to a peaceful conclusion with the faith. How rich are the depths of God! Who could ever know the mind of the Lord? And Paul is convinced God never takes back his gifts or revoke his choices. Naturally, we judge the world and God by our human standards. We judge God by our human standards. We do judge God by our human standards, our ways of thinking. With our little brains, we judge everything, including God. Often we are upset with Him. Why doesn't He do something about it? Why doesn't He answer my prayers? Why there is war and why there is hatred, why there is violence in the world? Why does He do something about it? Why this is going this way? Why can't the other way? Why there is evil and suffering? Never-ending question. We keep on asking those questions. Then again, the truth is we are using our human standards. One thing we forget is we all have a finite mind. We are confined to time and space. A short life, 70 or 100 years. And we have no understanding what this world would be like in 50 or 20 or 30 years' time. No understanding. We have no understanding. How can we understand? Our life will be over in a few days' time. How do we understand what will be this world like in 50 or 100 years' time? We have no way to understand that. We are confined to time, a short life. So how do we know the end of the story? We have no understanding of God is the one who knows the end from the beginning. I say it again. God is the one who knows the end from the beginning. God has got the end in mind and is working backwards. God is working backwards. Like in a film, the director has got the end already decided. It's in the script. The end is very clear for the director. Having that end in mind, the director is working to that end. This has to go this way. To create that effect, this has to be this way, not any other way. Because to have that effect, that particular end, this story has to go only this way. The director is so determined. Because it's very clear. The same way God has got the end very clearly in His mind. And who are we to understand the end? So be humble. Paul says, who am I to understand the mind of God? As a human being, who am I to judge God? He is wise. Everything in His wisdom He is doing. So I leave everything to Him. But then again, Paul is going back to his own life. How did I end up like this? Being a Jew and a Pharisee who was out to kill the Christians, now I am passionately living for Him and proclaiming Him. How could my life turn this way? God's mercy. My dear friend, this is the way you have to look at life. Never tax your mind with this kind of never-ending questions about God's wisdom. Like Paul, leave it to God, know that I don't know the end of the story. All I know is God is good and God is love. In my life, He has done everything for my good. I'm sure you all will have, if you look back. Maybe at the moment you haven't got. If you look back, you will find all that happened in your life, everything was invariably for the good. I can say that. I don't know what about you. I can definitely, everything happened. All of them. Invariably, all of them happened only for the good. Maybe in your case at the moment you are confused, but wait and see. One day you will realize when you look back, everything happened for the good. Not that we understand the details of those issues, but when we look back, you can see God was in charge in all those situations. In those days you cried and worried, and you look back and see those were really hard. But now I can see everything happened for the good. Believe in the wisdom and the goodness of God. You'll always have peace in your heart.